Rick and Rick talk red pills and mashed potatoes as their countdown to the greatest sci-fi movies of all time continues. All right, so my number 6 is The Matrix by the Wachowski brothers, 1999. So I think I went the opening night of The Matrix and had only seen the trailers, had no idea where it was going, and it was like taking the red pill. I mean, that movie was spectacular. Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss. So obviously a artificial world, a simulated world. But in this story, humans do exist, but they're jacked into their virtual world selves and being fed off of by an alien race that has taken over the world. And there is a resistance that is trying to fight them. This movie worked on so many levels. Like you talked about the influence. I mean, everything that followed The Matrix visually was influenced by it. This bullet time effect that they use in the movie and just the storytelling techniques. But larger than that, the movie really was a phenomenal exploration of really all the things that our religions, our major religions are based on. This idea that life is only a test. It's only a test because it's not really real, that there's a real reality beyond us where a great battle is going on between good and evil. Spectacular.
This movie's in my top 10 too. Let's see what I had it at. So for me, this was number 2. It's definitely, again, it's one of those movies that absolutely has changed every movie after that. You know, and you talked about bullet time. How many times do we see bullet time now? And it's become so common that it doesn't even stand out anymore.
Right.
The storytelling was phenomenal. You and I talked about that. I literally just watched this, maybe 2 weeks ago again for the first time. And I was amazed at how well the film is edited and how great the transitions move from scene to scene. If you remember, he was in a club and you can hear the music kind of just pounding and that rhythm, that's going on in the background. And then as they transition to the next scene, that rhythm of the bass and the music becomes his alarm clock ticking and waking him up. And those incredibly smooth transitions that help move you through the movie and connect the different scenes was just a powerful storytelling mechanism. Okay, so for me, number 6 was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That was on my overflow too, yes.
This one was in my overflow, and I had to pull it up. If you think about it again, this is a Spielberg movie, right?
Yep.
And so if you think about it, again, it is one of those movies that just absolutely changed the way things are being filmed,
yes,
how stories are being told. And what I loved about this movie is it's a movie about aliens, and throughout the entire movie, all the way up until almost the very end, you never actually see one. Right. And so it leaves so much for the imagination of the viewer that it just draws you into it. And you kind of empathize with this, poor dad who's going crazy with, these visions and this draw to this mountain that he has to go see.
Such a great movie. If you think about that too, he was already pulling tricks on us, right? I mean, at that time, if the Alien movie was coming out, you expected it to be they were attacking Earth, and here they were not. And just as in E.T., a couple years later, they did come in peace, and the story was about man's reaction to discovering that they're not alone. He was one of the first sort of film school babies to come out at that time, and that movie, I think, did start to change really everything in terms of the way movies were put forth. I mean, prior to like the probably mid 60s, they were still sort of this, soundstage kind of artificial stories, and it was really late 60s, and then really the influence of Spielberg and others, Lucas and others, where they brought it out into the real world and made people act like real human beings and overlapping dialogue and things like that. So just a great movie.
In my own life, I have to admit that, he absolutely influenced me, because forever after, I couldn't look at mashed potatoes the same way.
I don't think anybody could. Yep.
And in fact, about 5-6 years ago, I was so inspired that at Thanksgiving, I went ahead and shaped the mashed potatoes into a turkey so that, it didn't look like just a bowl of fluffy stuff.
That's awesome.